Ladies and gentlemen, my name is VTech. We're here with the one and only Jim Foster. How you feeling? It's been not even 24 hours after one of the most controversial moments in your company's history, your brand's history that you've been bringing back from the dead almost, rising the coffin, and so many skeletons need to be addressed, I think.
Well, I just do want to say that I'm happy to be on your show. Uh, I just think that there was some severe overreaction from last night. I do think that there was that Collins or Taylor or whatever he's going to call himself today severely overreacted. But in his absence, we now have a new UWI undisputed heavyweight champion in Christian Rainey, and there's controversy surrounding the Masked Man. And I do want to say that I know who the Masked Man is. Uh, because I'm aware of all these things. I also wanted to go ahead and kind of like walk away from Fallout for just a second and go ahead and announce that there's a new direction with Tabloid, which he'll be happy to hear. Tabloid, starting in October, will be moving to Thursday nights, which is a huge move for us because most of the venues are open Wednesday night. But we've got such good rapport with the venues that they've agreed to go ahead and move to Thursday nights. And I guess you can go ahead and announce the other part.
Yeah, so everyone thought I was, of course, the man behind the mask. Well, I'm pretty sure it'd be obvious if you could see me in that mask. A bit of a smaller guy, I don't know if you can tell that. This guy was a bit of a bigger build guy, more of a brute. It wouldn't make sense for me going in there swinging a guitar, but I was checking out Tabloid. I was tying up some loose ends, and I mean, do you wanna break the news? I think it's your company.
Well, I think it's important to talk about the fact that you and I have worked together for a long time, and I trust you, and you and I think very much on the same level. So, uh, is the ink even dry yet, dude?
I mean, it's been enough. It's been enough. Time has passed. I would imagine by now, right?
Was it? It's 2 o'clock, so that was about what 8 o'clock this morning. I already put that up. Why are you reposting it?
Exactly. Gotta get all the ink everywhere. All the eyes gotta see
Okay,
that.
so eight
Shoot.
o'clock this morning, we signed the contract, and VTech is now basically for people like to say general manager. I'm going to call him the overseer of Tabloid, and I trust you to take good care of Tabloid. And uh, also, but before I forget, I do want to say that you got your first talent already signed to the roster. And he's actually here with us. So I just want to go ahead and be a little transparent here. Everybody knows that me and this person had some issues, but there's no denying the talent that this person has. And when VTech came to me and said, "Hey, I really think that I can do something with this guy if you just give him a chance," so we both signed a contract. And you want to introduce him, VTech?
So many people know this guy for his endeavors in many companies. I'm not really gonna bash too much on him getting laid off at NBW or places like that, or places that he should be, because he's at the place that he needs to be at the point in his career to further his need to be a professional wrestler. Doesn't need to be an entity on the side of the ring. He needs to be within that ring, winning the big ones. And that man's none other than Chris Mullins. How does it feel to be here, my friend?
Did you miss me, ladies and gentlemen? Of course, it feels great to be here. It's, as you know, you were mentioning my many business ventures. it's a good business move. It makes money, so it makes sense.
Well, I'm happy that we could come to terms with that contract, and I think that you taking a small pay cut and helping Tabloid as Tabloid helps you was a very nice gesture from you. And you did mention in the talks that you didn't have to do this and that you were doing this for the business, which says a lot about your character.
Well, yeah, it's if it isn't obvious, I don't need the money. I make plenty of that in other ventures. So, yes, this is truthfully about making this place great again.
So, so let's go ahead and go back to last night. And again, thank you, Mullins, for being here. I'm excited to see the future here in Tabloid for you as well as Tabloid, and I'm excited to see what VTech has in store for Tabloid. Also have some other people coming to Tabloid. Also, Seth Jones been just kind of waiting on the side as well. But let's go ahead and talk about last night. Everybody wants to talk about last night. Everybody wants to talk about
last night.
Everybody wants to talk about the Masked Man and the guitar.
So we know where Jim Foster was last night.
Right?
And we know where VTech was last night. But where, oh where, was Chris Mullins?
Chris, don't get started. Everybody knows you were over in somewhere doing something. Don't try to tell people it was you. Nobody's going to believe that. Come on now.
I mean, let's be honest here. Where was I? Just
Anyways,
you got all the answers.
How was catering?
Catering was good.
See? Everybody knows you were at catering. Okay, so anyways, last night, everybody wants to talk about the way last night ended with the quote-unquote screw job. But the fact of the matter is that it was an unfortunate circumstance that even though I know who the person was, and I was well aware that this person had evil intent, I cannot control somebody from the ramp on. If somebody decides to leave the gorilla position, I have security and referees to take care of that, which they didn't seem to be able to do that, and that's been corrected. But let's go back to last night. Nobody wants to talk about the fact that Miguel Roderick got hurt. You know, nobody wants to talk about
that. That's a very overlooked part of that. That's
Exactly.
what happens when something big like this happens. Things that are just as big, maybe not as big, but are very much up there, things get overlooked.
I think this is a tragedy to the wrestling industry because Miguel Roderick is one hell of a worker. I mean, when it comes to foreign workers...
He's an icon to the Hispanic community.
Exactly. When it comes to foreign workers, he is the Hispanic industry of professional wrestling. No one else can touch him, all right? We have thousands of other people that idolize him because of what he's done, and to get to that stage and just get injured and dropped off from the face of the earth, everybody not to look at him.
Exactly. Nobody's talking about that. Nobody's talking about the fact that Miguel Roderick has decided to not sue Dean Freeman. And nobody wants to look at the fact that Dean Freeman has multiple gash wounds in his forehead from Luke Roberts and the chair shot. Nobody wants to look at that. Nobody wants to talk about the fact that Dean Freeman got poked in the stomach with a cattle prod.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody wants to talk about that. Nobody wants to talk about the fact that Key Morbid came and laid out Carmella and Ariana and took the undisputed women's title. Nobody's talking about that. Nobody's talking about the fact that the Suicidal Brothers won the tag team championships after Kelly Hackenschmidt turned on his partner. Nobody's talking about that.
I think.
Everybody's
No, you
everybody's
continue.
talking about the end of the night.
I think the big thing with this is that it goes to the top of the food chain and it just trickles down. So we have the big fallout of what happened in the Cage of Honor match, right? And then from there, it just trickles down to all these other people. And that's the way that it should be, because it should be the greatest thing that happened, the most hyped, heated talk of the night. And then all the discussions can go to everything else throughout.
Okay, so let's talk about the Cage of Honor.
All right.
Let's talk about the fact that Alex Sharp didn't show up with his mystery associate. Okay, let's talk about that. Let's talk about how upset that made a lot of fans, a lot of Alex Sharp marks. I'm one.
All right.
Okay, he he didn't show up. Okay, and Luke Roberts. Let's not talk about the fact that Luke Roberts and Dean Freeman are set to go to war to unify the next gen title and the television title, and they went to war and almost didn't make it out of the cage. Let's not talk about that at all.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not talk about the fact that Miguel Roderick is hurt. Miguel Roderick is hurt. You know? And I seriously, like I said, I know who the guy is, but I have no control from the ramp on. So the person who hit Christian Rainey with the guitar, I had no control over that. Not only that, why would Josh Collins just up and leave? Did he not realize that he had his hands on a title that he never had a hold of ever? He had his hands on the Gold Standard Championship.
He's a bit of an entitled guy nowadays. In professional wrestling, there comes two types of guys. There's guys who's gonna bust their ass and work for everything that they feel like they deserve, and then there's the guys who say that they deserved it, and they say they're entitled to it, and they want to be handed stuff, and then when they actually have to fight for it, they're gonna drop it because they don't know what it means to be worthy.
Well, all I know is that when he left, it gave me no choice but to give Christian Rainey what he rightfully deserved, and that was the UWI Undisputed title. So, do we want to talk about that some more?
Yes, because people are gonna say that you handed him the belt. How are you gonna address that?
Well, I mean, like, I can tell you that. How was he? I just to play devil's advocate, I would really like to know how he got handed the belt. He had the belts in his hand. Now, granted, he fell out of the cage with one hand out and one hand in, but he still had both hands on the title, and circumstances were completely beyond his control. So in reality, had he not got hit with that guitar, he'd have been the undisputed champion.
Mm-hmm.
It was circumstantial, is what it was. And then Josh Collins, Taylor, whatever he wants to call himself today, left.
Mm-hmm.
So he forfeited that title.
I think the big thing is if we look at the big old internet wrestling community and see how they react to things on the internet side of things and complain or hype up and generate around our own revenue, our product, is that they're saying that he was handed the title because people say there was no clear-cut winner because this mystery man came in and invaded on the match, but one guy still walked out guaranteed a title, while another guy walked out of the company.
Right.
So it leaves those other guys saying, what about me and my worth? When one guy got injured for that match, another guy got a cattle prod to his stomach, and another guy was carelessly working and nearly, laid the brains of another human being out on the steel structure. So, but one guy, he was lucky enough to just get the title just barely within his reach. barely within his
And
grasp.
and the only person who wasn't hurt in this match, it was the guy who walked away.
Hmm.
The only guy that didn't get hurt walked away selfishly. And you know what? He's not getting the rest of his pay. He's not getting the buy rates for last night's pay-per-view. I don't have the overhead to have a pay-per-view every month like all these other companies. I don't have the overhead to have a show every single week like everybody else does. I can't run UWI on one night or run UWI on a night and run tabloid on the same night. I don't have that kind of money. I don't have the kind of money to run a pay-per-view every month. It's and Josh Collins, Taylor, whatever he wants to call himself, he's not getting his pay. That money is actually going into tabloid now. I'm investing the money into tabloid. Tabloid will have all the UWI resources like it always has, but all his pay is gone. People who come back and decide that they're gonna work from the bottom and work their way to the top, like Chris Mullins, those are the people that deserve my money. Those are the people that deserve an investment from me, not Josh Collins or Taylor or whatever he's going to call himself today.
Hmm.
And Luke Roberts and Dean Freeman, yeah, they absolutely deserve a title shot again in the future, and they're definitely in the running to get a shot at that title. But right now, they need to finish their title unification with the TV title and the next gen title. So, but they definitely deserve a title shot because they proved it last night in the cage.
Let's talk about a big controversy. All right, let's rewind a little bit. Let's keep the hype rolling with the whole Cage of Honor, but let's keep that on standby just so we can talk about something just as big, at least in my eyes. And this is the Vixens title match. Carmella taking on Ariana Lux. Of course, Carmella is a WKW original, right?
Yes.
One of the newer ones. Also going against Ariana, a bit of a newer one. HOPW, kind of new breed original, I would say.
Right.
Both of them
Yeah.
had a hard fought match, but after 10 minutes, Key Morbid shows up. Key Morbid has been on standby for a while now. All right, and for her to come back and assume dominance right off the get-go.
Again, I have no control of what goes on outside of when it's past the gorilla position. When it's past the gorilla position, I have no way to control what goes on out there. That is the job of the referees and the security. They did not stop Key Morbid. I had no idea that somebody was going to come and cut the lights off. People think just because I run things that I'm just sitting there and not. They think that I'm just sitting there. They think that I'm just like sitting there at the gorilla position. I'm not. I'm invested in my company. I'm back there. I'm talking to people. I'm signing contracts. I'm meeting all sorts of different people, and I don't have control over everything that goes on in UWI. Again, this is why I have security, and this is why I have referees. The medical staff were quick to get to Miguel Roderick. And I mean, like, Key Morbid showed up. I have no control over that.
But it's the fact of we had two appearances that were unplanned for. We had this mystery guy.
Why
just
am I
pop in.
responsible for that?
Because you
Why am
hired the
I
security. You hired
But
the
I'm
security.
not responsible for that. That's why I hired them. That's why their contract is now over.
They're
I
doing a
haven't.
bad job letting these people
They're
in the
not. They're no
building.
longer employed. They're no longer employed.
I just hope you find better security, because to have a guy come in the building and
Well,
lay
look at
out
what
all these other
happened
guys.
Look at what happened last night at your tabloid show. Mullen shows up with a guitar and lays out a wrestler.
All right,
I
but
mean,
you see, there's a difference. I really don't
there's-
assume dominance of tabloid for a
I'm
little
not
bit.
trying- no.
I am the captain now.
Because at 8 o'clock this morning, I became the captain starting in
Yeah,
October.
but you were there last night. You could have stopped it.
I didn't want to, though.
Oh,
That's
oh,
the
you
difference.
didn't want
Oh.
to. Okay.
Speaking of people that I got, there was a guy, I don't know if you caught him. I was talking to him back in the boiler room of Tabloid. He's a bit of a shady guy.
Wait. Hold on. You were in the boiler room.
Yeah, I got a note.
Hold on.
He got lost.
No, I got a
There-
note.
There's only one guy that hangs out in the boiler room.
Okay.
There's only one guy.
But I got a note, and he wanted to contact me in the boiler room last night at Tabloid. I don't know why he was just hanging around out there. He might be one of those older wrestlers that just sells t-shirts out of the back of his van. But I actually know the guy pretty well, and he could vouch for me. You know, he was a long-term tag team guy who had the potential to be like the single star. And I think we can get him on board for Tabloid. You might have heard from him. His name is Duke Cade. He's kind of got a big run in a couple companies here and there.
He was actually in GWF.
Yeah,
Duke Cade.
you might have heard of him.
I've heard of him before.
You might have.
That name just strikes me.
The good old Saints of Supremacy. They were running things for a while.
He probably gets some thunderous applause.
Yeah. See, he's common underneath my banner of running things. So that's why I think he knows that with me underneath this banner, we can make things right. All right. What are your thoughts on him? What are your thoughts on him? Because I can get him on the phone in less than 30 seconds. All right.
Well,
I could hit him up. He might have bad reception, but look, that's what it's like in the boiler room.
Well, here's the thing: is that Duke Cade is he's so not stable, man.
Oh.
I mean, like I booked him twice
All right.
to show up against TJ Blade, and he didn't show up. Like, and I think it was to the beneficial to the health of TJ Blade that Duke Cade didn't show up.
Man doesn't own a car though.
Duke Cade?
Yeah, you're gonna pay for security, but you gotta pay for transportation. This man doesn't own a car.
He lives in the boiler room.
Still, he has to walk. That's like getting an Uber.
Yeah, he has to walk from the boiler room to the ring, and this guy. He's completely insane. He's not going to stay in the ring.
Yeah, true.
This is a guy that I would love to see like a hardcore title based around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I can get him on the phone. I mean,
I can get him a company car if he needs transportation.
Look at that. Look
See
at
there? Now look at that. There you go. Wait a minute, that would be coming out of my pocket.
No, it'd be coming out of K. Mullins Inc.'s pocket. I will fund if this man needs a car.
Okay. Can you, BTEC, can you try to get him on the phone?
I can get him on the phone.
Alright.
Just give me like 30 seconds. In the meantime, I need you to tell me his little story. Why is Kelly laying out Dwayne? Like, they were Team 420. They got high. They went to jail.
Bad trip.
They robbed a trailer park sometimes, and they got the
Here's
job
what-
done. All right.
Here's what happened, okay?
Shoot on it.
This is exactly what happened. Kelly laid Dwayne out,
All right.
and he came back through the curtain, and I said, Kelly, what happened? And he went to the dressing room, grabbed his bag, and left. And he said, I'm not part of Tabloid anymore. I'm not part of UWI. I'm gone. I'm gone. I'm out.
So I got
so he left.
Duke Cade here. Not to cut you off real quick. from our wonderful discussion of why we allow criminals in our company. Duke Cade, Duke Cade, how you doing, friend?
I was fine till you called me.
I'm sorry. What were you doing in the boiler room?
But see, there's this rat called Steve, okay, and he has this massive crush on this piece of cup.
A cup.
It's not the whole cup. It's half a cup.
Is it styrofoam?
Yes.
What?
His name is Stevenus.
That's bad for the environment.
Stevenus, and the rat loves Stevenus, and
All right.
I was just trying to help the relationship out, giving them both advice. I'm the rat advisor.
You're the Rat King.
I am the rat king.
Oh my gosh. See what happened when we're not employing great talent? They just they fall under hill. They do drugs. They become criminals.
I have a question to ask. I'm glad that you're with us, Duke. I was wondering, you know, I've tried several times to get you to be part of UWI, and you haven't shown up for whatever reasons, and that's fine. I have an associate of mine named Chris Mullins who is willing to get you transportation to the arena should you need it. We'd like to. Well, I guess you can do it, VTech.
We'd love to have you part of the show. Definitely, maybe long term. I mean, if we're gonna be providing this vehicle, definitely long term. But I mean, you're a wonderful talent. You know that. Saints of Supremacy, brother. I mean, you look back, screw the politics of who was running the place. I'm the captain. You know, we might have an anchor, but the captain is still going.
I'm the captain.
Yeah. No.
Oh, you're the captain. I thought you were the car provider.
I'm the captain now.
Oh, so you're providing the boat.
Yes.
All right.
If we go overseas, I'll provide you a boat as well.
Look, we're on a boat. We need you to jump on the party boat.
Take a good hard look at the boat.
We're on a boat, and we're going fast, and
we're going to the top. We're gonna take everybody down.
Yeah.
All right. This is gonna be. This is all about UWI and tabloid. All right. This is about establishing the product of UWI for the wrestling world. It's not. It's not your mama's wrestling. It's not your daddy's wrestling.
Too much too chatty.
Sorry, I have a microphone for a reason.
Do you? Oh, I thought it's because you could afford one, but anyway.
Exactly.
The reason why I didn't turn up was I got lost.
Oh.
Yeah, the signs aren't the best. Like I was getting hyped up. Steve was like, really, like, you can do this, Cage. You can do this. And I was like, I can do this. I'm gonna do this. Walked through the door, and I was like, where do I go?
Well, you know what? We need to have better signs. You know what? Maybe we'll cut back on security because they're not even doing their job. All right, and we'll hypen the amount of signs backstage to get you to that arena. All right, and we'll establish a better rehabilitation program for you and your buddies in case they want to come back after they spend time in the Big Banger.
I have a question. Mr. Mullins.
Yes, sir.
If I invested a certain amount of money, an undisclosed amount, which we won't discuss over the phone, if I invested a certain amount of money, do you think it would be probable for you to help provide better security for UWI as well as Tabloid?
Yeah, I will handpick the security. I will find us the finest security money can buy.
That way we can get some better signs for Duke K to find his way.
Yeah.
While I'm eating potato chips.
Dang it. There goes all of our refreshments.
Well, I've got the...
I'll buy new refreshments too. Like I said, I have a lot of money. I'll make sure that all the stuff's stocked. Catering will be great, so maybe I will be in catering next time something goes down and we want to say that I'm in catering.
Look, we'll have the Chick-fil-A Wrestler of the Week. Every week.
Yes, every week.
So, Mr. Mullins, I also have another question for you. I heard you recently learned to play guitar.
Oh,
Where did you hear that?
Just, that's what I heard. I mean, like,
Yeah.
I assume because you carry around a guitar that you play guitar.
it's that internet wrestling community.
The internet wrestling community has caught on to my love of things with 6 strings that make beautiful music. They make much more beautiful music when you do other things with them other than strum the strings.
Wait, are we talking about Josh Collins now?
Wait, what? Strumming strings.
What about Josh
Yeah.
Collins?
Hey,
Six
Dude.
strings, like he's a puppet.
Dude, Kay, you got some underground beef we don't know about?
Dude, Cade, was it you? Were you the man under the mask? Well, you couldn't have been.
We didn't have signs up that day.
We didn't have signs up that day. He would have got lost.
This is great silence. That Steve likes silence as well.
You know who else likes silence?
Hannibal Lecter.
The death.
Them too. Let's talk about something. Mullins.
What?
It was last night that you took on Osias Tesfaye. And you went
Yes.
toe to toe with that man, and he laid you out with a punch. But you lasted a fairly long time. Alright? And you had fighting spirits, and you didn't get injured unlike most people during the show.
Yeah. I was gonna say I walked away uninjured out of this show like half the roster.
And that's the thing, alright? When I start this crusade to make tabloid the greatest product out there, we're not going to have all these lazy workers. We're not going to have all these workers, deliberately injuring people to get a better push on the card. We're not going to have people walking out when they get a little butt hurts. We're not going to have a man-child, baby misfit carriage going on over here. We're going to have legit wrestling. We're going to have legit stories going on. But you legitimately lost to Osias with a punch. Yes. That man is a monster. We know that. We've known that since the days that he tried to take on a man I know, Curtis Strong, in a Inferno match. And he burnt his ass up. But he came back stronger. Is that the story for Chris Mullins? Is he going to come back stronger? Or is he going to let this delay his process?
Let me jump in here real quick. I just want to say what a lot of people don't know, and I know that it probably got revealed that after the match was over, Mullins came back. I had made sure that he got checked by the doctors right away. He got very, very volatile with me, and I wanted to make sure that he was okay. And at that moment, I walked over to him and I said, "Look, man, I know that me and you don't get along. Here's your contract. If you'd like to release from your contract, you're more than welcome to leave." And in what I think he regrets now, Mullins tore up his contract, but and then he showed up at Tabloid last night. So, but
as we've seen, I don't follow any rules. Rules and me.
Yeah, go ahead and what were you asking?
Continue with what you were saying there, VTech.
What's the game plan? All right, are you gonna come back from this loss stronger than ever, or are you just gonna let you dwindle down and stagger in the mid-cards?
If anything in this world of professional wrestling has shown you anything about me, it's I always have a plan. There's always an end game. There's always something at the end of the tunnel that I'm already thinking about as these things are... Everyone's just thinking about what's going on at the current moment. I'm thinking miles down this long, windy road we call Tabloid and UWI. And I already see the end. And it is magnificent.
Mr. Jim Foster.
Does it involve pizza? Does it involve pizza?
We will have pizza backstage. I like
Duke, don't worry. I'll get whatever catering you want.
I love Little Caesars. Mr. Jim Foster, I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Miguel Roderick was injured last night.
Yes.
Of course, he's not gonna sue because that's just the right thing to do by the wrestler's honor code. Even though the honor code kind of got thrown out the window last night for many reasons throughout many parts of the show. It was a very real, the drama was real. Everything, all the emotions got the best of a lot of people, especially people jumping the barricade and attacking others and really screwing things up. But Miguel Roderick ultimately got the short stick at the end of the night with an actual injury. How long are we looking that he might be out? And with him being out, what's the game plan? Are we going to keep him back where he was and try to get him back to 100%? Or are we going to let him stagger in tabloid and help out younger guys? Or is he going to, stagger around somewhere in the middle in UWI?
I think that is ultimately up to Miguel Roderick, because this is something that, because of the nature of what happened to him, that we're going to have to handle this situation with kid gloves, simply because Miguel is doing the right thing and not suing, which, thank God, because I really can't afford that. That would completely bring UWI to its knees and probably shut down Tabloid as well. I think that ultimately it's up to Miguel Roderick, because of the sensitivity of the situation. And again, I wish that I could take back what happened, but it's completely up to him now.
As for the other men involved, there's a Mr. Christian the Kid Rainey, and man walked out with a title, and that really shakes up a lot of things for the other guys. What's the thing for them? Are they going to put a target on his head because he's the guy that he walked out with the title? One guy left, one guy came in, beat up people, got himself a hand of a title, and it's kind of just out there that we don't have that champion spot fulfilled, but we do have Rainey bringing home 1 gold, and all these other guys, they're just kind of looking around like, hey, what about me? And do you think that puts more of a target on his head?
I think that, because of the pedigree of a guy like Rainey, that he's always going to have a target on his back, no matter whether he's champion or not, just because of the pedigree of that kind of guy. And I think that, it's now up to him to make sure that, he holds on to that title, because that title is his now. And there's nothing that anybody can do about that. No one can take that away from him, because whether you like it or not, he earned it. And when Collins walked away, he put that he took away his right to ever be champ ever again.
What are your thoughts on the current state of UWI? How are we gonna proceed after? I mean, clearly the world's been shaken by me as the overseer of Tabloid, but UWI, as it stands to its own entity, how do you think that's gonna be shaken? Not just the main title scene, not just Rainey, but the entire company. I mean, if you look at it, we got the Vixens running wild because of Kemorbid now. Tag team divisions kind of split after the whole departure of Team 420, with Kelly betraying Dwayne, just leaving his buddy out there for Gavin and his partner Jimmy Dunn, to the Suicide Brothers, to get that undisputed UWI Tag Team Championship gold. Of course, you can't take away all the other matches, but I think just the titles in general have been really shaken up, and it's like, what's the future of UWI gonna hold?
Well, originally Fallout was going to be all title unifications until, of course, the departure of James Knight,
Mm-hmm.
leaving the Gold Standard Championship basically high and dry. Um, so we had to have that match last night. So the future for UWI is pretty solid because um, I've taken a lot of time and thought and invested some money in Tabloid to bring up, and of course invested some money in you to bring up the young talent to a place where they can come to UWI and excel in UWI, and that way people can come through Tabloid
Mm-hmm.
and make UWI a better place. So I think UWI has a lot going for it with guys like Duke Cade and Seth Jones and Chris Mullins and you being the overseer of Tabloid. I think UWI has a very bright future as it stands right now. I feel like UWI is kind of spinning a little bit out of control, unfortunately, which is I'm trying to get a handle on that. Thankfully, UWI will have a little bit of a rest while we're looking at Tabloid. So I think that going into the next Saturday night fight, we'll be able to kind of see where we stand as far as titles go and unification matches and things of that matter. I think that the first thing we need to find out is again who was that masked man.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I of course confronted the person, and of course that person is on the payroll. But I will say that I have to say that I was not behind it. There was
It was
no.
me.
We already know that Duke Cade couldn't have been there. There was no signs in the arena.
Couldn't even walk there.
It was in spirit.
Spirit of who? Your tag team partner?
Yeah.
Alright. Well, Mr. Jim Foster, it's been nice having you. I look forward to more of these because it's fairly evident that it needs to happen. And just the way that these things are going, we need to keep this rolling. We need to keep this hyped. Right? We don't want to fall off this hype train. We're going straight to the golden land. So,
Well, VTech, I want to thank you for your time, Mr. Mullins. I want to thank you as always for being a consummate professional, even though you and I have our differences. Duke, will you do me a favor and just stay away from the scissors?
Yeah, sure.
and the
They
rats.
hurt anyway.
The what?
They hurt a lot.
Okay.
Steve doesn't like me doing it.
Steve is the rat, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And he's in love with a piece of a cup.
Yes.
Okay.
Alright.
A rat and a piece of a cup.
Alright. Straight shot.
And you're the marriage counselor. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Bang.